closed door. "But you've left me no choice but to dismiss you."
"I only told my friend, and she wouldn't breathe a word to anyone."
Mr. Gibbons' tone grew grave. "It doesn't matter if it's the Prime Minister you've been talking to. This is a government agency, and we maintain strict confidentiality in every respect. Good Lord, babbling about something you've overheard on the telephone switchboard."
"But I need this job, please."
"You should have thought about that earlier. I'll write you a cheque for your wages, and nobody needs to know about your indiscretion when you apply for a job somewhere else, unless they ask me for a reference."
Mr. Gibbons paused.
"That is the best I can do for you."
The door swung open.
Frances had barely enough time to move out of the way as Gussie thundered past. Her eyes were swollen, but her jaw was set in a mulish line. "Come in, my dear," Mr. Gibbons said. His face looked drained. "I'm afraid you've overheard a few things that should have been best kept quiet, but I trust I can rely on your discretion." He sank onto one of the 3 straight-backed chairs that stood in a line. "Not that Gussie is much of a loss, but I did hope it would work out, for her family's sake. And how I'll fill her chair at such short notice is beyond me." He sounded almost as if he was talking to himself, having forgotten all about her own presence, Frances thought, or he wouldn't have been so embarrassingly frank. She took pity on her superior. Mr. Gibbons always treated her fairly, and she'd never seen him this downcast before. "I've got 2 days off coming up," she said, watching the silent switchboard. "If it's any help, I could come in and do some extra hours." "Are you sure, my dear? You'd get paid extra, and it'd only be from 12 until 5. "I'll be here." Frances gave him a reassuring smile as she pressed the headset down onto her hair, switched it on, and answered the first signal. By lunchtime, her ears buzzed from all the noise and her eyes smarted from the flashing lights. She lifted her headset off and got up, moving her neck from side to side to prevent any stiffening. Lately, she'd taken to eating her sandwiches at the small table in the exchange, allowing her to keep an eye on the switchboard. She worked alone on her shifts these days. They'd become pretty quiet anyway, except for Fridays and Mondays, the days when tradespeople and business managers made phone calls. Not that long ago, there used to be 3 girls on busy days and 2 girls on slow shifts, but the depression had gotten too bad to allow for that. Calls during her lunch break were rare. The girls at the main exchange knew how short-staffed Mr. Gibbons was and told callers to try again later, unless it was urgent. With the unemployed roaming the country in ever-growing numbers, it was beyond Frances how anyone could be stupid enough to jeopardize a steady job. A shudder ran through her. She called herself to order. The Palmers were fine, as long as she earned enough to meet the mortgage and the regular bills. Not to worry. She bit into her ham and pickle sandwich. The bread tasted soft and fresh. She savoured the quiet around her as much as her meal. Mr. Herbert, who worked behind the post office counter, preferred lunch in one of the small tea shops that somehow managed to survive on customers like him. But Frances hated the idea of spending 2 whole pennies on a simple sandwich and have even more talk wash over her. Another light flashed on the switchboard. She took her headset and went to answer the call, fingers dancing as she worked the plugs. The air felt crisp as she left. It cooled her cheeks as she rushed home. She'd promised her mother to try and pick up a leftover loaf or 2 at half price from the German bakery, halfway between the telephone exchange and Grenfell Street. "Whoa, steady there." A tanned hand grabbed Frances's arm as she slipped off the curb to avoid colliding with a ragamuffin boy chasing after a ball. "Thank you," she said, catching her breath. "You can let go now, I'm fine." The man relaxed his grip. "At least let me see you safely across the street. What's with the big rush?" "I want to